Hi, this is Dina with Pretty Productive. Welcome back to my channel. So today what we're going to be doing is a couple of things. One is to review my spreadsheet that I'm working on, which is my 2025 actuals. From here, I continue to set up my 2026 budget. So I've gone through and actualized everything that I have so far. Obviously, the month of December is not actualized because we're still living it. Also, a few little housekeeping things from my last video, which I will post before this one goes up, on some things like my saving challenges and stuff like that. And then we're going to cash stuff, go over my December budget and cash stuff for the beginning of December. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with this sheet. This is a Excel spreadsheet. And if you've been around my channel for a while, you've probably seen this. So what I do on a monthly basis is I estimate all of my bills at the beginning of the year. So for an example, I take my electric bill by month, add it up for the year, and then divide that by 12, and that gives me an average for each month. Now, I live in Arizona, so obviously June, July, August, September are going to be higher. This year, actually, October was too. And then in the non-summer months, spring, summer months, then it's a lot less than what my average is. So what I do is I take the difference between what I budgeted for, in this case, it's $255 is what my average has been so far for 2025. I do not have my December bill yet. So when I get my December bill, anything different from the $260 that I budgeted for to the actual will go into a sinking fund to help offset the summer months where my bill is much higher. Now, I know that I could do an averaging bill. They offer that service so that my bill would be the same every month. But I just prefer this way because what they have been doing with the averaging is they will come and just roll all your difference up into one bill. So you could think your bill is going to be $400 and it's really $600 because you're trending higher than what your average was. So I kind of would just prefer to look at my history versus to let them calculate a surprise. So I do that for all of my bills that are not consistent. My water bill, my gas bill, my electric bill are the ones. So for my annual bills, what I do is I average them out by month because, I pay my car insurance, my homeowner's insurance, and my umbrella policy in the month of July. I take what the bill was last year, I add 15% on, and then that's what I take out per month, and that's been about what it's averaging. I would love to say that it's not going to go up 15% again this year, but probably will. My property taxes have been staying very consistent, so I just divided that number by 12 months and it comes up to $400. So I take $400 every month and put that away towards my property taxes. Things like car registration, I know I'm estimating high at $60. It was a little bit less than that, but I'd rather have too much than too little. And then I also take $300 a month and put that aside for car maintenance. So my car just went out of warranty in September, electrical warranty. So I sat down with my service advisor and just kind of had him ballpark how much I should be putting away per year. So including tires, brakes, all that kind of stuff. That's not really calculating like a huge expense, but my car is only 4 years old. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have huge expenses right away. So I'm just going to keep building up that fund. Like when we sat down and kind of plotted it out, I know that in the month of January, I'm going to get an oil change and there's a couple other things that will need to be done based on the mileage. So he estimated about $500. So I'm just kind of knowing in my mind that $500 is going to be coming out of that account in January. And then for things like Christmas, medical, vacation, things like that, I do save all year for those things, and I just put it into my sinking funds, calculate what I think I'm going to need, try to take a picture of what I'm going to be doing in 2026 and what I'll need to save for. And then on the right here, this section right here are my cash envelopes. So I've been averaging about $700 a month for groceries, and then you can see it kind of dip down in September to $495. I did spend the whole $700 in October, and then in November I only spent $460. So yeah, no, I didn't even spend $460. I had $460 left. I need to change that number. So I took it down to $600 for the month of December. Eating out, though, I did bring up. We're having countertops put in next week, so I don't know how long I'm not going to have a kitchen. And then we are going on vacation, and with the holidays, we'll probably have more people over. So I kind of brought that one, or going out a little bit more, so $400. Spending, I've been keeping it at $200, even though the last couple of months I've not spent that. And then I kind of just go through each one and actualize it at the end of the month, and that gives me a real picture of what I'm spending versus what I thought I was going to spend. And then in my other sinking funds has kind of been all over the board, because at the beginning of the year I thought, okay, if I know I'm going to be spending, I'm going to need to do tax prep in the month of April, I was going to be putting money aside for it every month. But then when money got tight, I didn't put it in. So then I just had to, take it out of my March and April budget to make up for the $400 that I knew we were going to spend on tax prep. So that's this needs some work when I go into 2026 on how I want to handle those expenses. Do I want to take $5, $10 out every month? Or do I want to just, kind of save for it in the month that it's due and just not fund something else? So kind of going back and forth. So at the bottom is kind of like my total recap per month. So it's what our actual income is. My husband and I are both semi-retired. So we know pretty much what our income is going to be because he has a pension, I have a pension. And then I do work somewhat. So that's my incremental income. And then I add up what I totally predict I'm going to spend or actualized what I spent. And then if there's a difference, if it's in the plus, like January, every month except for August, actually, then it's in green. And then in August, I did not work at all. Really, I didn't work in July, so I didn't have any income for August. I don't think I worked in August either. We were traveling. So I was short $54 that month between what we brought in versus what went out. And then November was, I worked a lot. And then in December, but I estimated December, but that's not an actualized number. I know it's probably going to be more than that. So right now it's just a placeholder. I just always want to make sure that we are not spending more than we are bringing in. I don't put my incremental income in till the end of the year because I do not want to rely on it. I'd rather just know that this is what we have coming in, this is what we have going out. And then that incremental income funds things like vacation saving challenges, my crafting supplies, planning supplies, things that I would love to spend money on, but maybe I don't have to. I don't have the money to do it. So that is my yearly spreadsheet. I've done this for, I think, every year. I normally keep it in the back of my Erin Condren monthly Deluxe. And when I'm estimating my bills for the month, I do look at what the year prior, like my electric bills and things like that. So that takes us to December. But before I go to December, at the end of my last video, I was taking the spending money that I was going to put in the savings challenge, and I started to put it into my 100 envelope challenge. What I discovered was I had not updated this, so I was trying to fill envelopes that were already filled. So I went through, erased everything, got a better pen to work on this, which is just a Sharpie that will come off with alcohol, and filled in the envelopes that I have. So I believe it was $759. And I only started this in maybe this summer. And my ultimate goal will be the $5,050. So this has just been stuffed with money that was left over, meaning I didn't spend all the categories that, like in my spending category or gas category, things like that. Just helping myself to be more mindful so that I have something to put into this for this savings challenge. Now for 2026, I'm going to continue with this, but I also am going to be planning for my 52-week saving challenge. And this is $2,000. So by month, like this is January, it'll be $100. So this will be a line item on my budget. So I'm going to have to take from something else, but that's okay, because if I can even get halfway through this one plus 2,000 at the end of 26, I'll be very close to that 5,000 that I am looking to save. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. And I already know I'm going to be a little short. So I did my close for November before I went to work. I was unrealistic about how much time I had in the morning. So by the time I filmed it, got ready to go to work, had to go to the post office to drop off some orders, I did not get to the bank. And the bank was closed by the time I got out. So I am going to be short $270, and I'm going to put IOUs into some envelopes. And then on Monday, on my way home from my daughter's, I'll go to the bank and then just put those into the envelopes and then take out the IOUs. So currently, this is where we are for the month of December. And this will all look pretty familiar to you. This is pretty consistent. I did take the groceries down. Actually on here, I took eating out to 300. This whole time, I have been not putting in my life insurance for 106. So on the old one where I would write it out every month, I had that. And so I just realized today when I was updating everything that I had never put that. So I believe I took that out of eating out. Spending at 200, gas at 250, household at 100. I'm not cash stuffing for my mom. She still has 40. Medicine at 150. And this probably won't, I'm going to let that roll over because now I switched how I was doing all my supplements. I went to one company and just eliminated a lot of what I was spending. So even though I'm spending for the packs of the Gruns, the Gruns, and that's a quarterly subscription at $124, might be a little bit more than that because that was like my first one. It still is less than what I was paying for all this individual supplements. And then entertainment at $150. Again, holiday time. Personal care at $200. I won't use $200 this month, but I'm going to have my hair cut and colored in January, so I'm just starting to build that up. And then date night at $50. Christmas is still getting $400, even though we're in the home stretch. Car maintenance and registration, $360. My envelopes, and I'll show you what those are going to be, at $540. Vacation at $500. I was going to cash stuff this, but I'm going to do a transfer. So I took some of the money that I had in the envelope and went ahead and put it into, I have a vacation account that has a debit card attached to it. So normally, since we're going to Vegas, I would take cash, but I really didn't feel comfortable having that much cash with me. So I kept some of it in cash, but the rest is going to be where I can debit. And then if I do have an ATM fee, then my bank, my credit union does refund all my ATM fees. So I'm not as worried about occurring those because I will get credited back for those. Medical is $351. I normally like to put $400 in medical for each month, and that's just to kind of keep building up our medical account, but all I had left for this month was $351. Not going to be cash stuffing for general, technology, or savings. And then these are my bills, pretty much consistent. I still have not got my grandson's 529 done, so that's going to be a January 1. I still need to get his social security number and get that set up, but we'll get that done. And then I did finally canceled our gym membership, so that's off of here this month. I don't know what she's doing with this sub yet for Coffee Monster Co., but I'm going to go ahead and keep funding it in case she keeps it. And then everything else is going to be pretty much status quo. For my electric bill, I should have put in, yeah, the $260. And right now it's running right around $180. So I'll have a little bit of money to put in to start building up that fund. And then this is my spreadsheets for the savings, the funds that I want to put in. So this month we're going to fund beauty, clothes, planning and journaling, which really I don't need anything. My birthday, my husband's birthday, my daughter's birthday, my daughter's family birthday, my other daughter's family birthday, and then the $50 for date night. Now this one is kind of a hot mess because I was short the money because I did not get to the bank. So I pretty much just recalculated it. So when I go to the bank, this is what I'll need to take out. And so that is what I'm going to be short. So as we cash stuff, I'll just figure out where we're going to go. So I basically need 350s and 620s or $270 for that. And let's get started. Oh, I just one more note on this one. So our income over here in green comes up here in the spreadsheet. So 6,604 is our income. If you've been here for a while, you know that our insurance now gets pulled from my husband's pension, which is less expensive than what we were paying. But I do take the difference of what we were paying to what we're paying now and take that $400 difference and go ahead and move it into a medical savings account because our deductibles went up and our copays have gone up. So we kind of need that little bit of a cushion. Our bills are $2,453. Cash envelopes, which is what I call lifestyle, over here is $2,000. Sinking funds, which is this right here, was $2,151. That equaled $6,604. So every dollar budget. The nice thing about the way this spreadsheet works is that every time I change one number, it just keeps moving. So the last thing I calculate is the sinking funds because I feel like my bills are set. These are pretty much, you know, down to where I know that they're accurate. So this is where I find like I get to spend money. So that's where I enjoy that part of it of deciding where can we plug more money into the sinking funds. Okay, so let's get started on the cash stuffing. So I'm going to leave this one. This is my cash breakout sheet. And there's just formulas in here. It's just 3 times 100, 4 times 50. So this fund column and this total column need to match. It means that I've captured every denomination that I need to pull out. It calculates it at the bottom. My back to bank is what I had left from last month. And then it subtracts it to tell me what I need to pull. So obviously this is not right because I changed this after I had printed it. So the total amount that we are cash stuffing today is $2,535. Once I get the $270 back. Okay, so let's get started. Move this to the side. Put this one to the side. Bring this over. I'm going to leave that there just as my reminder of what I'm doing. And we're going to start with groceries. Now, what I'd really like to be doing today is making all my new envelopes and getting all my binders and my budget binder set up for 2026. But today is my only day off from both watching my grandkids and working until after Christmas. So I got a lot on my plate today. So we're going to figure this out though. I'll take my phone over here. Okay, so groceries is getting 600 and I did that as 3 100s, 4 50s, 4 20s, and 4 5s. So if you're new here, I do not use my envelopes at the store. I do everything on my Capital One credit card. I just like, you know, having all my transactions in one spot. And then I pay myself back on a weekly basis. That keeps me from overspending in any category because this is what I have for groceries. I pretty much, you know, keep a cushion in my account and that's it. And so I don't want to be dipping into that cushion because I overspent in a category, but I just don't like to use cash. I like to use apps where I get points. I like to use credit cards where I get points, things like that. So that's just my style. It took me a lot of years to learn to go ahead and pay off my credit card at the end of the month. And I've never incurred interest on my Capital One because it's a ridiculous interest rate. 1, 2, 3, 354, 455, 520, 540, 560, 580, 585, 90, 95, 600. So basically 150 a week is what I have for groceries. So that's kind of what I like to do. Beginning of the month, we tend to do a Costco run, so we will spend a little bit more. And then as we get towards the end of the month, it's just supplementing some fresh foods. So for eating out, it is going to be $2.50s, $8.20s, 8, and 4 10s. Now this is a problem category for me, and last month I had money left over, so look at me. 51, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 300. And I took my trackers out of here because I'm really tracking it in my budget binder. Spending is going to get 10 20s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. $20, $40, $60, $81, $20, $40, $60, $82. Gas is getting $2.50, and I did that in 20s and 10s. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I average about $50 every week and a half. So I've had extra. Now I will be, because I'm working so much this month, I will be driving more. So I went ahead and left it $2.50. I might relook at this next year. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So $2.50. So medicine is also supplements. So I only take like 3 prescriptions, but I do take a lot of supplements. So I kind of just had to start beefing this up. I used to keep them separate, but it really, in my mind, is one, and I might just change the name of the envelope. So medicine is getting $1.50, and I did that as 7 20s. 20, 46. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 2 5s. So 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 45, 50. Date night is getting 50. I did that as 2 20s and a 10. And then while we're here, because I still do not have my entertainment envelope, entertainment is getting 150, and that is 150 and 520s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've just been keeping them together for right now. Self-care is getting 200. And then, let's see how I did that. Oh no. Yeah, okay. I'm going to be short 100 here, so 20 this way. For some reason I didn't change this to the 200. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so 100. And there's currently 60 there, so I'm going to start with 260. And I'm going to put a note that I owe this 100. Okay. Household is getting 100. And that is 520s. 2, 3, 4, 5. My mom still has 40. I'm not funding miscellaneous because I have 150 in there now. So 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 30, 40, 50. And leave that alone. Okay. Now this is where I'm going to have to get really creative. Okay, let's start with HOA because this is due in January and that's 110. You do 2 5s or 10? I did 2 5s. So 110. So now I should have 220. 100, 200, 5, 10, 15, 20. So in January, I'll take this back to the bank and then I only have to pull 110 out of my January budget versus pulling the 315 or whatever it is now. Pest control, I am going to have service this month, so it's 35. And my service is 95, so I think I'm actually a little ahead in this envelope. $20, $40, $60, $80, $90, $100, $10, $20, $25, $30, $35, $40. Yeah, $140, and I really need 95, so probably skip a month on that one. Electricity, I don't know yet. Vacation, I am transferring. Okay, so this is where. So for myself, is one of the 50s. My husband is one of the 50s that we're short. My daughter and her husband get 100. So they now have 100, 200, 300, 400. And the next time I need to pull from this will be July. And then the cars get 100, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 70. I'll need to pull money. Their anniversary's in December. Not putting money here. Holidays, what's my anniversary? Nope, none of these. Okay, so those two, and then 20 left. Okay, so Beauty was supposed to get 40. So I'll put the 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, and I owe it 20. Clothing was supposed to get 50. And it currently has 40. And planning and journaling has 10, 15, 16, 17. And it's supposed to get 100. And I did that one as 520s, I think. Planning, yeah. 5 times 20. Clothing, I think I did it as 150. Just so I can go back and check my math. Times 20. Okay, so I actually think need to add another, need to add 100 here. I need to change my spreadsheet. So it'll be 370 that I pull out. Okay, and I will tell you that's probably the first time in a long time that I didn't have all the money here for the cash stuffing, but I just could not get to the bank yesterday, so unfortunately. Okay, so that's everything for this video. My November month end will go up first, and then this one will go up after that. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a really great Thanksgiving, and I don't know about you, but I've been doing major damage on this Black Friday shopping, and I need to stop. And I'm still Christmas shopping, but I really went through, and I am right on target for making my budget, so I'm excited about that. And we'll go ahead and pull this money on Monday and pay back my envelopes where I have IOUs. So thank you so much for watching. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing and following along on this journey. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video.